Hey y'all, how's it going? It's your R&B queen slash hospitality queen, Tierney, aka Positive Pinky. So today I'm at acceptance. I just cannot get over how fucking calm I was today. I mean, I was just at peace. Like I was in the moment. I mean, yeah, like I spent kind of some time, you know, like overthinking a little bit, but I was not fixating. I was not like, oh God, fuck. I was not like, fuck the world. I was just kind of like, you know what? This is what the circumstances are. Like the end. I was kind of like, this is what I'm doing about it. Like I'm doing my humidifier. I'm doing my nasal sprays. I'm keeping up with everything I can, which is how it should be. You would think for me. But no, I'm learning because, I've been processing things and I'm just like, I'm always going to have chronic sinus problems, aka chronic sinusitis, and I have to accept it. I don't have to like it. I can hate it with a burning passion and be like, fuck this fucking sucks. But I can just be like, you know what? I accept it because I don't have control over stopping it. Now, there's things I can do about it. Like, I can do my nasal sprays, I can do the humidifier, I can take warm, hot showers. I can, take a decongestant. I can take my allergy medication, which I take every night. I take Allegra, and I'm good about doing that. I'm good at, been doing better with keeping up with my nasal sprays. I mean, in the past, I would be so forgetful, and if I'm not careful, that can cause me to go into sinus infection. I'm kind of paranoid. I might have one, but it's like it's hard to tell the difference because with the chronic sinusitis thing, I will have sinus pain and sinus headaches like every day. I'm literally talking about every day. Like, literally, that's how I spend my everyday life. And people probably think I'm just a raging Irish Catholic alcoholic bitch, who has nothing better to do than to complain. But trust me, it'd be no joke. Like, but at the same time, I just have to accept it. I've reached a point in spiritual fucking awakening. Sorry, my violence is worn off, so I'm just saying the word fuck a lot. But that's just how it be. But nah, I appreciate the select few people that actually check in. Even if it's just they're liking my message. I mean, that's checking in. Like, yeah, be nice if some of them like said how are you feeling more. But hey, at least if they're saying, I'll take a sorry to hear that. I'll take a like of the message. I'll take a like of my story. Like any kind of acknowledgement. But you know what? I'm realizing, that yes, validation is nice, but it's really not a requirement. Like sometimes we have to accept that people can't always give it to us every time. I mean, of course, because our feelings are valid, and there's some times where we need to be called out on our bullshit, like for instance, if we're told, if we're nagged by a parent to clean the bathroom, then yeah, that's kind of a first world problem, like, and I'm kind of guilty of that too, because sometimes I don't want to do that, but it's like part of being an adult is taking responsibility and doing that shit, even we don't want to, like, um, I mean, it's just like we go to our jobs every day because we have to. We don't have a choice. We have to make money. You know, Now some more than others because some people are moved out and some people aren't. Like I'm not quite there yet, but you know what? I've got to be kind to myself because my time will come. um, but hopping on here helps. It gets me outside of myself, and I'm just really proud of myself for not fixating. I mean, for most people, that's just common fucking sense. It's kind of like, okay, that's just what you should do. Tierney Marie Caulfield, like, but hey, I'm human and other people have things to work on too, just as much as I do. I mean, we all do, whether it's like not interrupting someone. Mm-hmm. But, I can forgive those people. But, the worst is like when people do something that they know bothers you. But then again, I'm kind of guilty of it too, because it's kind of like, just get off my back. Like, I get it already. But no, I mean, it really gives me perspective, like if one of my friends is kind of fixating, because they do it too. It's not just me that does it. They do it just as much, if not more. Like, no, they really do, because, like, and it gives them, I mean, but I will give them this. They recently said, one of them said, like, I cannot imagine what you go through every day with your sinuses. And I really appreciated that because it's not every day that someone takes the time to say that. Um, and then like one of my friends, Amy Lede, and she always like checks in with me about my sinuses. I mean, she and I have our moments, but at the end of the day, I mean, and my college friends and I have our moments. I mean, everyone does. I mean, our families and I, like, we do. Like, sometimes they think my singing is too loud. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm singing Whitney Houston. It's like, do you really expect it to be as quiet as a church mouse? I mean, that's just not how it works. I'm sorry, but I can't really make my voice mute because then it would lose the point of it. um, but you know what? Like, I really am at acceptance. I'm kind of like, it is what it is. I mean, I'm dealing with sinus headaches, I'm dealing with stuffiness, I'm dealing with inflammation, I'm dealing with a lot of things. But you know what? The whole world does not need to know about it. Well, maybe they do to validate, but you know what? It's like if they choose not to, then fuck it, you know? It's kind of like if people don't validate, that's on them, you know? That is 100% on them because if they don't, they're entitled to not do it. Like, you know, just like people are entitled to have different opinions. We aren't going to have the same opinion on everything. I mean, even though that's kind of stupid because it's like, yeah, it takes 5 minutes to say how you're feeling. Like, even if you don't agree with what's going on, which, like, to a certain extent, I kind of disagree because, you know, like, yeah, I mean, if the facts are right there and you're just choosing to ignore them, like, this individual was trying to have out us, they just say I didn't sound stuffy, and I took it really personally, like, for the first time in a long time. Like, I was just, like, thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Like, neither do you, bitch. But, you know, I learned that, you know, this individual is entitled to think what they want. You know, their energy was kind of off, you know. But I think even if you don't, if, like, it's like just because you think someone seems fine or sounds fine, that doesn't mean it's actual truth. That's like your delusion of it. Like, oh, you seem fine. Yeah, just because I'm a good actress and I put on a good face doesn't mean that I'm actually fine. Like, half the time I'm not. I'm just pretending I am. I mean, that hello, that's what I have to do for work. You know, I'm being like, ah, everything's great. You know, whenever they ask me how I am at work, you know, I'm lying every time. Do you really think I'm going to respond saying I have a chronic sinus headache and I feel stuffed up? No, because I got to check that shit at the door every fucking day. But, you know, I have to accept it because you really think they're going to want to hear that in the workplace? Nah. You know, I can't be carrying with that in my workday. Like, I can't be having no breakdown because that ain't gonna fly. And hospitality, I mean, you gotta have thick skin for that shit. But no, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, okay, but anyway, enough about the chronic sinusitis shit because you know what? I'm kind of, you know, I will say this: I'm off the clock from fixating on it. It's like, you know, it's a waste of time and energy to keep proving points to people. Like, you know, it's like, what good does that do? It's like, there's no fucking point to it. It really isn't because, yeah, I have a lot of ear pain right now. I have sinus headache right now. I feel stuffed up, but you know, I don't sound the worst I've ever sounded in my life, but I also don't sound great. But you know what? I know the truth. And as long as I know the truth, that's all that matters because people can make their comments, they can make their assumptions. You know, sometimes I just let people think assumptions. I mean, sometimes you gotta call them out on the bullshit. But sometimes it's not even worth having certain conversations. And you know, I hate when people do conflict avoidance shit when they're like, we're not having this conversation right now because it's not worth it. Nah, actually, you being conflict avoidant is not worth it because you're just being manipulative and selfish. But you know, if I say that, then I am attacking them, you know. But you know what? Whatever. They're entitled to think what they want. You know, I'm off the clock for certain people right now. I don't want to say names, but I really am. Like, I'm kind of just like, you know, sometimes we need space. Space. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, seriously, like, but, let's see, what was I going to say? But nah, it's really freeing to be off the clock from certain things and certain people. I mean, we need to normalize that. Like, being off the clock. It's not just made for a time clock. It can be in any point in our life, we can be off the clock. You know, I mean, it's no different than putting ourselves first. It's like that's a way that we can put ourselves first is being off the clock. I mean, think about it. You know, being off the clock doesn't have to just be at work. It can be off the clock and you're off the clock to be off the clock, you know what I mean? Like, off the clock, I mean, it's just the greatest word ever. Like, I mean, there's just nothing that beats when you're off the clock and you know that you're done for the day. But like at home, I'm kind of like the maid. Now, when I was at Equinox and I was a housekeeper and then I had to actually do my household chores, I mean, that was the struggle right there, because when I was doing it for 10 hours a day on the weekend shifts, did people really think I wanted to, I mean, talk about not wanting to clean my bathroom. Like, I was like, fuck it. But no, I mean, even when we're complaining about a first world problem, it is valid. But there's some times where it's like, okay, like if I was, and that's the thing, like half the things I complain about really are not first world problems. I mean, some of them are, you know, some of them are kind of like, really, are you kidding me? Or sometimes they may seem like it. Like if I was complaining about a family member to someone who didn't have a family, then yeah, that would be a first world problem. Because, you know, not everyone has parents. You know, some of them die. I mean, like I've known plenty of people that have had their parents die at a young age. And I mean, that's a trauma that I have no idea about and I have yet to experience, but I'm grateful that I haven't had to experience that yet. But I've experienced other things. I mean, you know, everyone goes through their own shit, you know. So anyway, yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. I forgot what I was gonna say next. Um, but nah, I mean, I really am off the clock from fixating, at least for now. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's like fixating is, okay, anyway. But nah, I'm gonna do I Will Never Let You Down by Rita Ora. All right. Tell me, baby, what we gonna do? I'll make it easy, kinda like to lose. Watch the sunlight coming through. Open the window, let it shine on you. 'Cause I've been sick and working all week and I've been doing just fine. You've been tired of watching me, forgot to have a good time. Boy, you can take it, all these spaces, never keeping it real. Know exactly how you feel when you say you've had enough and you might just give it up. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Feeling low on love, I'll be what you're dreaming of. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. There's a million ways to go. Don't be embarrassed if you lose control. On the rooftop now you know your body's frozen and you lost your soul. 'Cause I've been sick and working all week and I've been doing just fine. You've been tired of watching me, got to have a good time. Boy, you can take it, all these spaces, never keeping it real. Know exactly how you feel when you say you've had enough and you might just give it up. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. You're feeling low on love, I'll be what you're dreaming of. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. Well, you know, I mean, I could die tomorrow and be a foot, like, let me take you where you never go. Have a little fun, it's the only way we know. Let me show you what you never see. You know how to love, only when you're holding me. Oh, you say you've had enough, and you might just give it up. Oh, oh, I will never let you down. You're feeling low on love, I'll be one what you're dreaming of. I will never let you down. You say you've had enough, and you might just give it up. Oh, I will never let you down. You feel alone, I'll be what you're dreaming of. I will never let you down.